function. For every function, the triggers will be different. So let me give you now a real example. Again, project management methodology. Level 1. The PMO provides a basic methodology, partially standardized and not fully aligned with the international project management best practice. It does not cover all knowledge areas needed by the organization. The methodology is used only in a few projects under the PMO mandate. There is a large resistance to its use. The users were not properly trained by the PMO to use it. So if you see this description and you feel, oh, that's what we are, it means that you are in the level 1 for the provide project management methodology function. So each function, you will have a different level of maturity. So we have here the level 2, right? So you see that we have a slight improvement, right, in each trigger. Level 3, and finally we have level 4. You can see that level 4 now, look the first item. The PMO now offers a standardized methodology aligned to the needs of the organization and to the best international practices of project management. It covers all knowledge areas required by the organization, and it's fully adapted to the different types of organizations' projects. The methodology is used in all projects under the PMO mandate. The resistance to its use is irrelevant, and all users have been trained by the PMO to use it. The methodology is subject to a regular process of improvement. So see, we are seeing here the two sides of the maturity, right? Level 1, it's the lower one, and level 4, it's the higher one. Okay, so that's exactly how you will evolve in each function. Very good. So look, how can we do that? Usually it should be a 1-year assessment cycle at least, right? You will measure your current maturity. For example, provide methodology, now I'm level 1. And you will say your target maturity. So in 12 months, I want to be level 3. So if you are level 1 and you want to be level 3, it means that there is a gap. So you have to create an action plan. What I will do to reach my target maturity in 12 months. You have to create this action plan, right? So every maturity model, even organizational models, they will always give you an idea about where you are and where you want to be. So you can create an action plan to reach your goal. This model is available for free if you want. It's available at pmovaluering.com. So it's step number 6, okay? Step number 6, you have to create a new PMO. You can do it by yourself. You go to step number 2, it's important, and you have to check the functions you want, because on step number 6, you will see only the functions you marked on step number 2. So if you want to check all of them, 26 functions, you can do it, or just those ones that you want to evaluate. So when you do this, you go to step number 6, and you will see these functions here. Can you see one of them? This one with a green sign. Monitoring and controlling projects or programs. If you click the green sign, you will see the levels of maturity. So you can read them and see, okay, my current level is 2, and my target level for in 12 months, it will be 3. So there is a gap. I can click here and create my action plan. And I can see that I have only 50% of maturity. And why? Because I'm level 2. The top is 40. So, the top is, so if I have 2, it means that I have only 50%. Okay, so that's how it works. It's very easy. okay? And everything is available there. So you can see here more functions. Can you see all of them? All of them were checked on step 2. So you can see there are some operational functions, there are some tactical functions. If you click the green sign, you will see the maturity levels for each one, okay? And at the end, you will see the results, right? How much mature you are in the strategic approach, how much mature you are in the tactical approach, and how much mature you are in the operational approach, and a consolidation of the maturity. There is something important. Remember when I told you that our operational PMO is not less mature than a strategic PMO? Why? Because you can provide operational functions in a very high level of maturity. So you are operational and you are doing a great job. All functions that you are providing are really mature because they are being provided in a very high level of sophistication. Okay, you are strategic. You are providing some strategic functions. Does it mean that you are mature? Not necessarily, because you can provide strategic functions, for example, portfolio management, in a very low level of sophistication. So you are not doing a good job with your strategic functions. So it's possible to be strategic and not really mature, right? So again, being strategic, tactical, or operational is a decision based on the needs of your stakeholders. It's a matter of alignment. Now, being mature in each of these approaches is a decision about how well you will provide each function. We are talking about different concepts, right? This graph here will tell you that the black line will tell you the top maturity. The green line is the target for the next 12 years. And the blue line means your current maturity, okay, what you are now. So finally, let me give you some examples. We have two real cases here, case A and case B. So case A is a retail company based in Asia. It's an enterprise PMO, 11 years old, right? Real case B is an insurance company in Europe, enterprise PMO, 7 years of existence. And look, first let's see these numbers here at the end. Current PMO maturity, strategic 87, tactical 90, operational 76. And B, current PMO maturity, strategic 65, tactical 70, operational 82. When we analyze these two PMOs, we could say that PMO A is a little more mature than PMO B, right? If we take all these numbers, we can see that. Operationally, this one is a little better, but in a strategic and tactical approach, case A is much better. So we could say that this PMO is more mature, yes. But does it mean that this PMO is better than PMO B? I don't know, maybe not. And why? Because look, this number, stakeholders expectation adherence. This is an indicator that the PMO value ring provider provides in step number 2, okay? It means how much aligned you are with the expectations of your stakeholders. So what I'm saying is, case A, we have only 48% of alignment. Case B, 87%. So what we see here is PMO A is doing really good, many functions, but these functions are not delivering what the stakeholders really want. So Peter Drucker had a very interesting saying that was, nothing is more useless than spending time, money, and resources to do really well something that nobody wants, right? And that's what maybe is happening with PMO-A, because we are doing very well something that is not expected by our stakeholders. So how can we create perception of value with this? Case B, okay, there is space for evolution, but we are very well aligned with the expectations. So what I'm trying to say is, being strategic, tactical, or operational is a matter of expectations. Now, maturity means how much you are able to deliver perception of value, because you are delivering what you have to deliver in a high level of sophistication. That's the idea of PMO maturity. Okay? So, doing the right things and doing the things right. Doing the right things, alignment. Doing things right, maturity. That's the difference. So maybe you are really mature, but if you are doing the wrong things, if you are not aligned with expectations, it's a waste of time, of money, of resources, right? So again, as I told you, if you go to pmovaluering.com, you can use step number 6, identify the PMO's maturity and plan its evolution. Here you will find a model with all levels for the 26 functions that are available in the methodology. I invite you to try it, right? I'm sure you like it. This model, the first time that it was, the first version was launched 10 years ago in the PMI research conference in Washington, D.C. It was the first time that it was published. So from that time to today, it evolved a lot. So now it's really nice after thousands of tests. In the beginning, if you try to find at internet, if you try PMO maturity cube, PMO maturity cube model, you will find these first publications, because in 2015 it became part of the PMO value ring. So we gave up the original name, the PMO maturity cube. So now it's just step number 6 of the PMO value ring, but it's quite interesting. I really recommend that you know more about that. And if you want to know more about the methodology, what I recommend to you is the certification program, the PMO Certified Practitioner certification. That's the way that you have to know more about the methodology and how to use it from the beginning to the end. We have many people, especially Akbar, Valley, Fauzi. They are, not only certified, but also, they are very, very, how can I say, they encourage, people to know more about the methodology. It's really interesting. We are really proud about what we built. So if you want to know more, I will be happy with that, because I'm sure that we will be very well impressed about the power of the PMO value ring. And so that's the idea that I would like to tell you today. In summary, okay, we have a PMO. PMOs are different. We have to create different solutions for each company. The way to do that is understanding the needs of our stakeholders. And that's why PMOs are different, because needs are different from company to company. When we understand their needs, we will say which medicines we will prescribe, right? So which functions the PMO should perform. So they will be different from a PMO to another PMO. So now we are aligned with the needs. So it means that we will try to provide each function in the best way possible. So now we are talking about maturity. And remember, maturity is not related to a movement from the operational to the strategic level, but much more how good you are in the operational approach, the tactical approach, and in the strategic approach. But you can't forget that if you are really good in something that is not delivering the expectations of your stakeholders, you are wasting money, because actually maybe you are doing a great technical job, but nobody will recognize the value of what you are doing, because you are working not for your customers, you are working for yourself, right? You are doing what you think that it's good, and not for those things that they really need in terms of results, right? That's the general idea. So I will open for questions, but just before that, I would like to invite you to participate in this conference, the PMO Global Awards Experience. We're going to have many people from Indonesia participating. Akbar will be there because he's one of the top influencers in 2020, right? So it's a very interesting achievement. Congrats, Akbar. And there will be a special session for him. And we're going to have many, we are talking about more than 300 sessions, just to give you an idea how big is this event. It's the largest one in the world for in project management area. So the PMI CEO is participating, the IPMA chair of the board is participating. We have many, very interesting people and companies participating. And on October 29, the winner of the PMO, the World PMO of the Year award will be announced. This year we have 4 finalists. It's a company from the United Arab Emirates, another one from Ukraine, representing Europe, United Arab Emirates representing Asia Pacific. The Americas is represented by the largest bank of Honduras, and Africa is represented for the largest retail company from South Africa. One of them will be the award winner. So I will be happy to count on you if you can help us to spread, this conference. It will be very important. It's for free, as I said. So I hope you can join us. It will be very, very interesting. And finally, this is the website to use the model, pmovaluering.com. This is where you can join our community for free, right? This is the PMOawards.org. It's our competition. So next year, I hope we can have a company from Indonesia, right? We had last year, but not this year. So next year, we have to count on Indonesia again, right? So it's a great chance of, not because of the competition only, but it's a way to encourage companies from your country to evolve, because it's a really interesting experience to participate in an initiative like that. That's my mail, so you can contact me anytime you want. You can also find me on LinkedIn and Facebook. And finally, this is the email if you want to get more information about the certification process. By the way, if you register for the conference, you will access the conference app. And at the conference app, there are some virtual booths, including a PMO PI virtual booth, right? But if you check for these booths, you will see there is one for the PMO CP certification. And there were available, I don't know exactly how many there are still available, but 2 weeks ago, we created 100 coupons of 20% of discount for the PMO CP certification. It's something very, very rare, because usually discounts are only for groups of 5 people or more, and only 10% of discount. So this is a special 20% of discount because some sponsors subsidize the fees, the certification fees, to help us to spread the certification around the world. So if you want to certify, that's a very good chance. go to the virtual booth of PMO CP certification, claim your coupon, and you can have 20% of discount. That is very significant. So I invite you to do that. And let me stop sharing. Okay, and now let me tell you one last thing, right? As you see, maturity of PMOs are something very specific, are something that will show how good is your PMO is, right? But again, maybe you are really good under the technical point of view, but it doesn't mean that you deliver perception of value. So you have to take care of these two things. You have to be aligned, and you have to do very well what you are doing, right? And there is a very interesting point. Probably many of you already heard something like that. Oh, my PMO failed because we had a lack of sponsorship, right? Our directors, they were not sponsoring the PMO, and that's why our PMO failed. Let me give you something to think about. You are saying that your PMO failed because of a lack of sponsorship. So you are saying that the cause of your failure was a lack of sponsorship. But think with me, most of the time, PMOs fail not because of a lack of sponsorship. A lack of sponsorship is not the cause. A lack of sponsorship is the consequence, is an evidence that you are failing. And why? Because how can you want sponsorship if you are not able to deliver perception of value for them? Of course, if they can't see the value of what you are doing, they will not give you the support that you want. Do you understand what I'm saying? So a lack of sponsorship most of the time is an evidence of your failure. It's not the cause. It's not the cause. And it happens because you are doing something, no doubt about that, but what you are doing is not what you have to do, because you are doing something that you read at a book, or because you heard about that in a conference, or because you tried to do that in your last company. So you are repeating now based on your experience. But again, there is no ideal PMO. So every time you try to copy other company, some suggestion, even your own experience, when you try to repeat something that was given to you without thinking, without trying to align with expectations, the chances of failure will be much higher. And how can you dare to expect sponsorship if you are not able to deliver perception of value? No, it will not happen, and your PMO will fail. So think about that. Think if your PMO is doing well what you are doing, but if you are doing what you have to do, what will deliver perception of value. That's something really, really important, right? And that's it. That's it. So I invite you to try the model, and I'm sure that you like it. Let me see if you have questions in the chat room, and after that we can open the microphone. Just a second.
Yeah, I can help you.
Yes,
to read the question.
Just a second.
Pak Fauzi?
Yeah. Any question? Anyone?
Okay, I can see. I think there are some questions here.
Yeah.
Just a second. Americo, blah, blah, blah. Let me see, where is the first one?
First one is from Ruby Refi, Americo.
Yeah.
Ruby Refi.
Okay, so we can sneak peek, no? Yeah, no, I'm trying to find him. Oh, hi. So feel free to ask.
Okay, so
by voice.
Very much. So I did make some notes here. Firstly, nice to meet you, Americo. So
Nice to meet you.
basically, it's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for all of your insight. Let me introduce myself first before I ask question. My name is Ruby Rifai. I'm actually one of the PMO, head of PMO in one of the fintech company in Indonesia. So it is very interesting on what you're saying earlier, especially in your happiness formula. Now, my question on that is that, of course, when we try to actually measure the expectation of the stakeholders, one of the challenges is it keep changing, it keep increasing, and then so how do you measure, or does it need to be quantified? Now, regarding the quantification of the value itself, maybe it be differ with the one that actually the company that actually sells project management service itself, right? It's my opinion lah, because I've been into the user company, I've been into a vendor company lah. So the vendor company, it's easy. How much you spend, what is your deliver, and then it's actually how many mandates that you can sell, and you put a price on it and become the value, and you can count the ROI or exactly over it. But for us as a PMO right now is how do we measure, how do we quantify the value itself? Firstly, it keep increasing. We yeah, like you mentioned earlier, standardization. Yes, we put the standard there. Okay, then they expect something else, because it relates to also the maturity that you mentioned earlier, level 1, level 2, level 3, right? But it keeps increasing and it keeps changing, especially in the fintech company, everything is moving very fast. Before we realize that, okay, it is done and something new has already coming in, right? So yeah, so I just would like to have your thought in that.
Good.
Thank
good.
you, Americo.
Thank you for coming. Actually, I fully agree with you. The most challenging task for every PMO is to ensure its alignment with expectations, right? Because it's not very clear when these expectations are changing, right? So the first point is, when should I be concerned about that? Every time that you see that there was some kind of change in the environment that can influence these expectations. For example, there was a merge between companies. There was a very important change in the strategy of the company. There was something that happened, like the COVID, right? That obviously will influence any company. There is a very important new executive that came to the company. So there will be a new expectation that I have to consider, right? Also, sometimes everything that I told you don't happen, right? However, we have to know that our stakeholders, they will evolve by themselves, right? And why? Because of course, after 1 year, after 2 years, those things that person expect will change, because now he or she is more mature. His understanding about about what is happening in terms of project management is different. It's like, for example, let's get a very easy analogy. Let's suppose that we are talking about cell phones, right? Cell phones today, I have my iPhone here. Probably Apple already have iPhone 20, right? It's already ready to be launched if they want. But they can't do that now. And why? Because if they do that now, I will not see the value of what they are offering. And why? Because I'm not mature enough to understand the value of what they are offering. You know what I'm saying? There is a very interesting model named Johari window. There are four positions in this graph. The first position, it's the evolution of the wisdom, right? The first position is they don't know that they don't know. What I'm saying is, while someone don't know that he or she doesn't know, it means that I can't see the value of what you are offering to me. So if you come today and give me the iPhone 20, I will see that and say, no, I don't need it, right? And why? Because I'm not mature enough to understand it. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is all your stakeholders will evolve over time. And you have to understand this evolution because the demands will change, the needs will change. They will expect things a little more sophisticated. It's natural, you know, it will happen. So what I'm trying to say is what you are doing today will not assure that you will have success tomorrow, right? Because all these questions, all these points can happen, can change the scenario. And if you don't adapt, you will believe that you are doing what you have to do, but actually it doesn't work anymore. It's not generating perception of value anymore. So what is the recommendation? You have to be aware about the most important changes, those that you can easily see that just happen, right? Like mergers and new executives or things like the COVID. And every time that you see that something like that happen, it's time to check the alignment again. And let's suppose that you can't see anything. Okay, it looks normal, nothing's happening. Remember, your stakeholders will mature. Now they don't know, they don't know. But in 1 year, they will know that they don't know. And when it happens, it's the time that you have to insert something new, right? For example, today, benefit management is something that if you try to suggest, people, maybe they will refuse it because they don't know that they don't know. So they can't see the value. But maybe in 1 year, after some maturing process, they will be able to understand that that's something important. So they will know that they don't know. So that's the time to insert this new possibility, you know? So what I'm saying is, even if you don't have any significant change that you can see, at least every year you have to check your alignment. How can you do that? How can you measure that? That's what we try to do with the PMO value ring methodology, because we created two concepts: potential functions, potential benefits. And every year, at least, we try to use the methodology to collect expectations in terms of benefits. And we have a database with the collective intelligence of our community, global community, with correlations between benefits and functions. So if you tell me which benefits you want, the correlations will tell you, based on the community experience, will tell you which functions you should provide. So when you do that, maybe you can realize that you are providing functions that are in the end of the list. So it means that these functions can't deliver the benefits that were prioritized by your stakeholders. You know, it's a very easy calculation, in fact, but the benchmarking database with the collective intelligence helps you because you are not based on your sole experience anymore. Actually, you have the experience of the community giving you some guidance about which functions could deliver the set of expectations that your stakeholders want. So that's a way, right? So the point is it the answer? Actually, it's not the answer because it's not mathematics, you know, it's not something that you say, oh no, 2 + 2 is 4. Actually, it's something to give you some guidance. If you see that there is a function at the end of this list and you are spending resources with this function, at least you should think, hey, does it make sense? Why am I doing that? It's because someone told me that it should be done and I'm just repeating, you know, this. I'm just doing that because I believe that every PMO should do that. or it's because I really understand that it's delivering something useful for someone or for the organization. So the PMO value ring will make you think. That's the point. The decision is up to you, right? But it's a way to give some guidance about how to decide about critical things on your PMO, right?
Okay, thank you very much. I mean, in regard to the changes itself, I mean, we are as a PMO is paid to face the changes anywhere, right? Because the project itself is actually will keep changing, so it doesn't bother me. But yeah, I will definitely try the PMO value ring. So thank you very much. I will have a look at it, and if I do have question, we'll email you.
Yeah.
So
Let me just tell you one thing. You said, "Oh, our projects have changed all the time." Yes, it happens everywhere, right? But it doesn't mean that all these changes will influence the expectations in terms of benefits from the PMO, right?
Agree,
There is a
agree.
difference. There is a difference. So sometimes it will happen, but changes in projects are not exactly changes in the PMO. So that's something, of course, it depends on each company. That's something that you have to understand how it works. But don't believe that because we have a very, complex dynamics in our projects, everything will be chaotic. No, actually not. Actually, some of these issues will influence the PMO. Some of them will be part of the game. The PMO will manage it, right? So there is a difference.
I understand. But the way I see it, the more changes it there, the more value that expected from PMO, because the PMO will be expected to manage the change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, it's a possibility. It's a possibility.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay. I think thank you very much. That's
thank
it
you.
from
Thank
me.
you for your question.
Yeah, pleasure.
Thank you, Ruby.
Do we have another one?
Yeah, we have actually many. Maybe from Mbak Ayang. Mbak Ayang.
Hello.
Your time.
Okay. Hi, Americo Pinto. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
And in this event, it's been an honor to hear you in this private webinar to share about the maturity of PMO directly. First of all, I'm Ayang from PMO Telkom Sigma, same company as Mbak Feli, one of ICT company in Indonesia. In your presentation, I really interested with what you said about that PMO have different formula for every company. We have together the pain point of our management, the grand why they need the PMO in our organization. But as we know, sometimes the strategy changes follow the current board of management. So the question is, how do we react or respond when there are organization restructure in a year for several times? And how we maintain our maturity of PMO when there are changing of management strategy, maybe in every 2 years? Do we have to brief our management first about the PMO maturity and ask again and create PMO value every time the board of management change, or what we have together, what they want, or what?
Yes. I think it's quite clear. Let me tell you what I see about that, right? Actually, I'm basing my answer in the experience of some thousands of users of the methodology. What I see is these changes will happen all the time. Again, they will happen all the time. So the strategy, the executives, the point is how important it will be for you, for your PMO. So that's something that you have to think about, right? There is no magic calculation that can tell you if it's important or no. It will depend on your own evaluation. What I can say is every time that you see a change, rethink your PMO. That's the point, right? Because, and when I say rethink, it doesn't mean that you have to change something, Maybe you will rethink and you will say, okay, it's enough. That's what we have. That's what we have to do. It's okay. But stop and think about that. That's the point, right? Doesn't assume that everything is fine, because it may be not, right? And so that's the first point. The second question is, when we have something that can impact our PMO, as I said to our last participant, is sometimes we have changes that will not impact too much. So actually, you see that there was a change in the scenario, in the strategy, but it doesn't mean that our PMO will be strongly impacted by that. So that's another point. We can try some slight alignment, but it's not something that will change the PMO totally. But sometimes there will be the situation. There will be things that will just, redirect your PMO in another direction, right? So it means that maybe you were very strategic and now you have to become much more operational, maybe. And you say, oh, it's a backstep. No, it's not. It's just a matter of alignment, right? There is no backstep, because backstep is when you start to do worse something that you were doing good, right? So realignment is not a backstep. Realignment is just a way to try to deliver expectations and generate perception of value. There is nothing wrong with that. But remember, maturity is something that can change, because let's suppose today you are providing 3 functions that are delivering very strategic expectations that you mapped in the beginning of the process, okay? So you are providing 3 strategic functions like benefits, portfolio management, advice for the top executives. All of them are very strategic functions. So you evolved your PMO, and now you are doing that in a very high level of maturity. So yes, it's good, because you are doing the right thing in the right way. So you are aligned and you have a very high level of maturity. It's perfect. However, the COVID came, and now your stakeholders, they are very concerned about operational stuff. They are not really concerned about the strategy, the long term, because they are trying to save the company, right? So it means that if you try to understand their expectations again, you can use step number 1 of the PMO value range, you will realize that their expectations have changed. So now they want very operational things, and those functions that you were performing can't deliver those expectations. So you have to consider the possibility of realignment. So from now on, we will provide planning support. We will manage some projects, and we will control some projects. So all of them are very operational, but that's what you need to be done now, right? You are trying to do something new, right? So it probably you will not start with the high level of maturity, okay? So what I'm saying is, in these new functions, maybe your maturity will be 1, 2 in the first year. It's part of the game, because it's impossible to start with the Ferrari, right? Sometimes you have to start with a bike, but it's okay. It's better than nothing. And it's important to start. So the maturity every year, maturity is not something that happens like this. Oh, I got the maturity, now I mature forever. No, because when you change the configuration of your PMO, you can become less mature because you are doing something new. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's normal. It's something that happened. The only thing that can't happen is you are not aware about that. You are not aware about what's happening. You are just doing what you believe that you have to do. You are not aligning your PMO with the expectations. you are improving, what you are doing in a way that you believe that it's the correct way, but maybe you are just wasting money because you are doing things that can't deliver expectations. So when people work like this, they are much more focused on themselves. Oh, I'm doing the PMO not for my customers. I'm doing the PMO for myself, because I believe that it should be a PMO. And at the end of the day, I say, oh, nobody can see the beauty of my PMO, nobody can understand what I'm doing. No, I'm sorry, you are doing something that nobody care about that, because what you are doing is not for them, it's for you. You are not delivering value for them. You are doing what you like, right? So there is no alignment with the real needs, just with the technical stuff. And the technical stuff is not the objective. The technical stuff is the way to get there, to get in the benefits that you need to create, So that's the point. Alignment is everything. Alignment is everything. Before thinking about evolving your PMO, be sure that you are aligned with expectations, because if you are not, you are just wasting our time. I think that's the most important point to be considered.
Okay, thank you, Americo. But
Okay,
once more, can we ask one thing?
Oh.
Our company is facing agile company. Is there any term of agile PMO framework or something that you know about agile?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Agile is something that people now they are talking about that very much. It's not something new, actually, right? The concepts of agility, they are with us, I don't know, maybe for more than 15 years. So it's not something new, but it's something very trendy, right? So people love it right now, right? And so we see concepts like agile PMO, and something like that. My point of view, based on the experience that I see, is that agility is not the end, right? Agility is the middle, right? It's the way to get there. So what I'm saying is, I see no sense on thinking that we have to create an agile PMO. Actually, it's a PMO. And sometimes we're going to use agile approach in some specific situations. Depending on the company, maybe I'm going to have some kind of hybrid approach. Sometimes I will use agility, sometimes not. And there is nothing wrong with that, because it's not a choice. I don't need to say, no, from now on, I'm agile and forget everything. No, it's not like that. Agility is something that I have to use when it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't, right?
Yes.
Sometimes it doesn't. And there is nothing wrong about that. It's not like, I don't know, a religion, from now on, I have to follow this or the word, it will be the apocalypse.
To become agile.
Exactly. If you are not agile, it means that you are the pest,
Very conventional PMO.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So I use agile many times in my projects on our PMO, but it's not only agile, because agile, it's a tool, right? In some way, it's an approach, and there are many approaches that are valid. It's very difficult on management field to say that something is the way, it's not like this. You have to take what it makes sense for you. Even PMOs, that's something interesting, even PMOs, because do you believe that every company in the world should have a PMO? The answer is no. There are many companies that a PMO doesn't make sense. And why? Because they don't have enough projects. They are not, a company with a size that justify a PMO. The size of the portfolio is not really big. There are many other priorities related maybe to their business process that should be the focus right now before the PMO. You know what I'm saying? So PMOs are not the solution for everything. Definitely not. And Agile, the same thing, and any other approach. Everything is very useful if well used, you know?
Okay.
So my recommendation is don't follow anything blindly, you know, like, oh, that's the solution I have to. No, 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 no. You will see that everywhere because, of course, there are people that they have to do that because that's what they sell, right? So they
Yes.
have to do that, right? I understand. I
Right.
understand. But it's only one more approach, one more solution, and how much more you study about that, it will be really more clear because you see that just one more way, and it's good. Yes, it's good, but it's not the magic pill, right? That's my humble opinion about that.
Thank you for your interesting point of view.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you, Americo.
thank you. I think
Okay.
we have some
We have,
more.
yeah, we have maybe last question, yeah, because the time, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
for you it's a little late, right?
no, it's okay because we also open late, right? From Pak Reza Mandara, yeah, maybe you can ask the question, Pak.
Okay, thank you. Hi,
Hi,
Americo. Nice to meet you.
hi, welcome.
Yes, I'm the head of PMO for PT Era Jaya, which is in retail for gadgets and lifestyle. Can we just had a restructuring also, not just because of COVID, but because of many other reasons. I was going to ask you two questions, but the first question I think you have already answered, concerning PMO value. The second one is I was interested in your slide about analyzing maturity. So in case B, could it mean that the PMO maturity is perfectly matched with the organization maturity? What I mean is like the strategic, tactical, and operational characteristics of a company may differ from company to company. Then the PMO should follow accordingly, maybe. And then in
Mhm.
some companies also there are some PMOs that are not a corporate PMO, but just like a division PMO. Maybe that's why that it suits them. Then it suits the majority of that division only. But what are your views about that? Thank you.
Good, good. In fact, first, let me tell you about those numbers that I showed you. What I was trying to show you was something that happened 2 years ago with our awards for PMOs, the global awards. There was a company that their PMO was one of the world finalists. We have 4 world finalists. One of them was one of the world finalists. They were not the winners, but they win their regional award. You know, 4 regions: Africa, America, the Americas, Asia Pacific, and Europe. So they were the winners of one of these regions, and of course they won of the world finalists. And it was interesting because it happened in November, right? And in April of the next year, the PMO was shut down by the executives of the company. So look
Wow.
what we are talking about. We are saying that one of the best PMOs in the world, just 5 months later, was shut down by the company. The question is, why, right? Why? And it happens in 2018. So we decided to study this case, right? To understand, maybe try to understand what happened. Of course, there are many variables, many questions that could be considered, but one of them was very clear to us, and that's why I started to use this example, because that PMO was very mature. So what I'm saying is, what makes you the winner of a global award is maturity. Do you agree with me? So you are doing what you are doing in a very best way. So when you present it to the world, people say, wow, you are really good, right? You are doing something fantastic. You deserve this award. You are really mature on what you are doing. However, it doesn't mean that you are doing what you have to do, right? So now we are talking about alignment again. So what I'm saying is that PMO, they were really good, they were really mature, but they were doing something that was not delivering perception of value. So we tried to assess the alignment with the stakeholders' expectations, and we saw that it was really low. So it's crazy because they were doing a great job, but nobody cared about that. The organization couldn't see the value, you know. Oh, okay, you were the winner. Good, very good, but I can't see any value. You know, I just paid a bill for you. It's very good for your career, but for our organization, it doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? So the result of this analysis showed us that first, it's important to ensure the alignment, because the chances of surviving for your PMO will be higher if you are very aligned, even if you have a low maturity, because you are doing what you have to do and you have some space for evolution. But if you are doing very well something in a very high level of maturity, usually it's expensive, right? And you have no alignment or a low alignment, it's really, really terrible, because what people see, instead of the value of what you are doing, what they see is a very negative number, you know? They feel that. They see, hey, I'm spending a lot of money with these guys. Okay, they are doing a very technical, good job, but it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. That's not what I want. It's like that beautiful, let's take Apple again. Apple just released a new cell phone. They love it. They think that it's really great, technically speaking, but nobody buy it. People don't like it. People don't want it. They can't see the value of this new product. So, okay, your product is amazing in terms of technical aspects, but nobody cares. Nobody buy it. You know what I'm saying? So that example was showing exactly that. And it's valid for enterprise PMO, but it could be a departmental PMO, because being enterprise or departmental is just a matter of scope. You know, it's like you have a radar. So what is included in your radar? You can see all the projects, you can see only these ones, you can see, it's just a decision, right? But the way that things happen is exactly the same. Of course, your customers will be different, but the behavior of the PMO will be exactly the same. The concept is exactly the same, right?
Okay, thank you very much for your insight, Americo.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I see there are, oh, it's a shame, there are many. Can I just try in 30 seconds to answer?
Yes, please.
Okay, so
Okay.
how do you correlate between PMO and PM maturity? That's a good question. We don't have this study, correlation between PMO maturity and PM maturity, but there is clearly a correlation between them. So, for example, how much your PMO is more mature, it's able, right? It becomes able to improve the maturity of the company, right? Because it's more prepared to do that. However, it's difficult for your PMO to improve its maturity if the maturity of the company is not increasing, you know. And why? Because they don't see the value. Remember, they don't know that they don't know. So you are saying, hey, I will be do that in a very well way, but people don't give, you know, they don't care because they can't see the value. But there is something that you have to consider very quickly. Maturity is like, okay, we're gonna buy, everybody needs to buy a Ferrari, you know? It's the best one. So you have to consider, do you really need a Ferrari? Because a Ferrari is something very expensive. Sometimes you can realize that a very good economic car is enough for you. So what I'm saying is the best risk management practice could be really good for, I don't know, an oil and gas company. But for your small company, if you have only something very basic, is enough, because it's better than go on foot, right? You have a bike, it's better than going on foot, but you don't need a Ferrari because a Ferrari is too expensive. So you have to be skeptical. Sometimes you will see that your maturity, your target maturity is not 4. Sometimes 3 can be enough, right? Because become 4 is too expensive considering the needs that you have, you know? So there is an optimum point of evolution. You have to consider that. That's something a little more advanced, but it's related to the point you said. Let me see, there is another one here. Is there, okay, I answered that. I would like to, Timothy said something about a new tech park. Timothy, if you can send me an email, maybe we can try to schedule a call and discuss this idea. It will be very welcome. The material, yes, I will share it with you, right? I will send to Fauzi. What else? I think it's all, right? Yes. If you have any additional question, feel free to send me a message, and I will be very happy to discuss these ideas with you, and it will be a pleasure.
Okay. Thank you, Americo Pinto, for your time sharing with us in your busy schedule. All question, if you have any question, you can also contact Americo. And then you also can join our LinkedIn group for discuss about PMO. Okay, then last but not least, let's taking the picture first before closing. Yeah. Okay, please turn on your camera. Everyone, please. Mbak Aya, please take the picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
1, 2.
Maybe at this time, some people are already in their beds,
Yes,
you know?
Yeah. So please, everyone, turn on your camera for our documentation. This is very important for us. Okay. Anyone? Okay. Okay, Mbak Aya, please.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, finish.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you very much. It was my pleasure. I wish you success.
Yeah, on behalf of PMO Professional Indonesia, thank you very much for Americo Pinto, our guest speaker, and also for all of you making time to join us here today. Hope you get more value in this event. See you again in our next event. See you. Okay,
bye-bye.
Thank you, Americo. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
By the way, this room is still open for a few minutes to chat each other. Thank you, Americo.
Americo, thank you.
Thank you, Valley.
Bye.
It was my pleasure.
It was our pleasure.
Thank you, Americo.
If you can invite your community to join our conference, I will be very, very grateful for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
how we are trying to reach 4,000 attendees. So every support will be welcome.
Yeah. We encourage everybody to join via our social media. We also posting also. Okay. Good luck for your event also. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good evening.
Good
Bye.
evening. I'm signing out. Yes.
Bye-bye, everyone. Stay safe.
Bye.